Hey, what's up, fam? The translated chapters for Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest chapters 1 and 2 have been put online. I already did videos kind of going over the raws, and I was able to make out most of the stuff from the chapters, but then I'm pretty much gonna go over certain points of them from these videos. I'm gonna try and do chapter 1 and 2 in the same video. So obviously it kind of starts off, we have a flashback to when the first guild kind of got started. This was back when mages didn't kind of had, there was no real form to them. They kind of just were all independent. There was no construct to their people. And through what looks like lawlessness and lack of structure within their world, that there were a lot of tragedies that kind of followed because of these kind of decide to do whatever they want wizards. And then that made Eleftheria form the first guild. We got Magia Dragon. I thought that was pretty good. The only thing, I'll get actually to one thing when in a little bit. Probably the only thing that I have about the chapters that kind of bother me. Very minimal, but it's something. So obviously we get these 3 new people. I like the designs of all 3 of them, but obviously we only have to keep one. They got this really annoying guy that showed up to the guild, wouldn't shut the hell up, was trying to talk trash to other guilds, acting all high and mighty for no reason, which, I don't know, he seemed like just a douche, got kicked out. Well, not really kicked out, he got scared out, and then the little kid also ran off just by seeing a glance of Laxus. Whatever. I figured he would definitely stay in. Maybe they come back, I don't know. But obviously we got Toka, who I'm very suspicious about. I'm going to get that in another video. I'll tell you why I am extremely suspicious about her. But her whole thing where she's in love with NaTou. And so people have been saying, like, oh, she's a clone of Juvia's. I mean, the thing about it that I like her character, even if she ends up literally just being Juvia but for NaTou, that I will say, I really like her and Juvia's interaction. Because what's funny is, the whole thing with the way that Juvia kind of saw everybody, and her whole thing with, like, love rivals, and just kind of creating this big spider web of ridiculousness within her mind, really, of all the rivals within love that she had with Gray. And I mean, who actually also like Gray was? I know Briar, and then Old Tyr and Ur was more of his teacher's affection, and Old Tyr was. I don't think there was really ever anything between them. It just kind of seemed like the appreciation for Ur. Obviously Kana isn't anything for him, but I like that she actually, like, argues with her about the whole thing, and they kind of go back and forth. I just like the fact that somebody's actually, like, when Juvia kind of, like, gets in that weird mode, someone's, like, pushing her back in the same way but slightly different, and I think it's entertaining. I'd like to see how that goes when Gray and NaTou are actually around Juvia and Toka, but like I said, I'm suspicious of Toka. I was wrong about the snow. It's not snow, it's crystallized ether nano, which I thought was pretty cool. That's pretty an interesting little bit to the series that I thought was pretty good. So when they go to the guild, Magia Dragon, the only thing that I had towards, I know there are people who are complaining about certain things that I'll get to in a minute, but the only thing that I complain about is you had a guild with the name Dragon in it, and you had all these Dragon Slayers. That's the only thing that really bothers me, is, like, you think someone would have mentioned it at some point beforehand, but whatever. It's not a big deal. I really like that we're at a new continent. There's more that we have to be explored. I know Gray is from a different continent, and then there's a continent that's connected to Ishgar, that, if you look at the map, it's connected to the Penguard Kingdom, and it's just grayed out. So there's definitely something there. There's probably a couple more continents that we'll get to. Hopefully, I would like them, and maybe the spinoffs. Real quick, the Happy spinoff came out, and I'm wondering if that's going to be, that could be on another continent, or at least just some, like, random little country. I thought it was fun. I'd suggest go reading it. But anyway, we get to Giltina. We have the first guild, where nobody's even at still. It kind of just worn down. Something I don't get about that, like, I know it was explained, young people don't want to go to the old guilds, but I feel like if I had the opportunity to join the first guild, I'd be like, oh, hell yeah, that sounds awesome. Especially when the fucking... Oh my god, I'll get to the leader in a second. But obviously, goes towards Gildart's NaTou talking, and the difference, obviously, between them when kind of Gildart's is like, you're going to suffer from this, is Gildart's went alone. NaTou's like, I got my buds, so I'm going to have them behind me, which is very NaTou of him. And I will say that I like this. Usually when you get, hey, we're starting a new arc, there's always a recap of like, hey, here's all the characters, here's what they do, blah, blah, blah. And it's normal. I mean, it happens in a lot of series, but I like that with NaTou. It was very, very swift, but very impactful from that one panel. But then obviously gets to the guild, big stone dragon. They're like, look, a dragon, but it's a statue, so whatever. They go inside, and it ends up being Eleftheria, the law dragon, which pretty cool. I like his design, and I like the following when we find out in chapter 2 that he's actually a human, and not just a human, that he's a dragon slayer. And he was kind of met the whole situation kind of like Irene and Acnologia, and I think he's going to be stronger than Irene. And the reason is, I think there's a certain, just like how you have to get to a certain level of power within dragon slaying magic to, first get the slit eyes, or maybe just qualifications, really. Get the slit eyes, get dragon force, get motion sickness, start transforming into a dragon, turn into a whole dragon, and then eventually be able to shift between human and dragon forms. I think there's just a skill that you have to learn within it. I don't really know, but that's just what I've observed and what I believe. But we get Eleftheria. Obviously, NaTou is able to smell him, and he sees him. Even though he's a dragon, he smells more like a human to him, so he's able to pick it out. And then Eleftheria turns back in his human form. I really like him. He looks really cool. He looks kind of like just like a standard wizard that you'd see, but with I like the added belt with the weird little notches on it with some form of items. I don't know what they do. I liked his staff. It was telling, but also simplistic. I've been waiting for someone to wear a sick wizard hat like that, like a classical style, but kind of different wizard hat. And I know Irene kind of wore a hat. Does not look like a wizard hat. We had Grand Doma from the council, and he looked awesome. I'm surprised that he didn't get to ever do anything, because he looked really cool. Never did shit, got killed by Jackal, so obviously he wasn't very powerful. But anyway, Eleftheria is, moving around the room, screwing around, shrinking, getting between Lucy's tits. I thought that was funny. You got a little bit of fan service. It's needed. Poor Lucy. The thing I like about Lucy, though, I'll say that I know people always bring up, is like, oh, she's just fan service. Like, originally she was pretty much just fan service and a damsel in distress, but she got better each arc, and now the only reason that she really gets fan service is because, I don't know, running thing, but she's definitely competent on her own. Definitely here she's out of her fucking league that she's on this quest, but she's got Urza and Grabe with her, and though everyone underestimates her, Wendy, which I think she's 15 now, because she joined at 12. I don't remember, it's 12 or 13. You had at least a year time skip. You had 6 months, I believe, after she joined. I think it was after Lucy joined. And then you had a year from the end of... a year from 544 to 545. So she's got to be like 14, 15 now. Still looking the same. She's going to be lowly forever, poor gal. But it kind of goes over, and Eleftheria is like, all right, you guys are ready to take this job? And then like gives them the rules. We get back to what I was talking about with Juvia and Toka. I like the interactions between the two of them. I think it's very entertaining to see like somebody actually kind of push back against her. That was fun. But obviously when she mentions Briar, Gadgiel kind of gets a little shaken. And I'll get into my theory about Toka in a different video. But for now, just obviously she's suspicious. The fact that she mentions Briar of all people. Because I feel like even amongst the fans, not a lot of people would be able to look at her and be able to call her by name. Oh, Briar. I really liked her. I thought she was interesting, but obviously she didn't amount to much. Anyway, it gets back to what the actual quest is. They have to sign papers saying that if they die, it's no one's fault. It's their, they're dead. And that they are not allowed to tell anybody about the mission. We get a little flashback with Lucy kind of showing why, even though she's scared and she seems like she's aware that she's in some shit deeper than her, even though she's been S-Class for a while. She was S-Class in the Grand Magic games, at least in terms of magic quantity, because if you remember, Angel was designated S-Class level, and she was able to summon 1 gold key and 1 silver key, and by the time Grand Magic games rolled around, Lucy was able to summon 2 golden keys, and then she was able to get 2 keys plus Star Dress, and she's obviously come a long way. She probably can do 3 keys now, maybe more, but she's definitely out of her league in this one. And then we get, obviously, the big shocker of the task, the 5 dragon gods they have to go seal, which is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see their designs and their names so you can, speculate what they're like, what their powers are like, the level of strength each of them are. Because even though, the 5 of them are said to be as strong as Acnologia, but I think one of them will definitely be like oh yeah, he's the strongest out of us, or she, whatever. Whichever dragon it is, whichever dragon god is the best. But again, I liked seeing NaTou's face. NaTou's ready. He's ready to get in this. He's all fired up, as he says. And can't wait for the next chapter. We should be able to get, some spoilers on it in the next few days. But, like I said, good chapter. I'm going to get into stuff about Toka and some other theories later. But I want to just kind of give a rundown of these 2 chapters now that we actually can read them, like, translated by people that are actually better at translating than a scrub like me. But like I said, new continent. We got a new dragon gods. We have a new dragon slayer, or at least former dragon slayer. Oh yeah, that was the thing I wanted to talk about. Is I've been waiting for forever for there to be more dragon slayers, because even though obviously it's a lost magic, there should be more in the world, at least a handful. I was part of the people that believed a long time ago the number 1 Wizard Saint was going to be a dragon slayer. I don't know, it was just one of those feelings where, it was who would the perfect spot to be out of the Wizard Saint to be a dragon slayer. Number 1, just put him up there. Obviously, poor God Serena got in over his head, got screwed up by Acnologia, whatever, like 5 times. So, anyway, new continent, new dragon, new bosses, a new face, who's already seems to be a little bit suspicious about her, but has a good character in action. We got not only that kind of side story, we got Lucy hopefully getting her Aquarius key back or running into it at some point along the line. And obviously we got the main team up and running. They're going to be going after stuff. I'm excited to see where this goes. We have a potential of at least 3 big story arcs. Because I think that the whole dragons, the 5 dragon gods, will each get their own mini arc, like 20 to 30 chapters, just a guess. And then I think if my theory about Toka is right, which I'll get to, I think that'll be an arc. And then I think, hopefully, if they want to get to, alright, here's the last one, this is it, before they probably end up just doing movies, is Ankh-Saram, the god that cursed Zareth and Mavis. I think he'd be cool. I want to at least see what he looks like. If they never do anything with him, I'd at least like to see what he looks like. But, yeah, that was it. Good stuff. I suggest reading them. They're fun. But otherwise, check out my other videos. I did the reviews. I did the first reviews on the Raws. They're actually doing good. My review on Chapter 1, like the spoilers, the Raw chapter spoilers, is currently my most viewed. I might be able to get up to 5,000, which is awesome. I'm going to do mostly manga for my channel. I do some comics, and then for the manga, I do mostly Hiroshima content, Fairy Tail, Eden Zero, kind of his other stuff if I want to speculate or go over stuff like Rave Master or Monster Soul. And then I like Black Clover, and I like to talk about Black Clover sometimes. But otherwise, yeah, check out my other videos. Hopefully I can get you subscribed to my channel. One thing I will say is I'm not the only channel that does Fairy Tail content, but I know there's a bunch out there that do it just for views and don't actually give a fuck about Fairy Tail. They're probably one of the guys that will say like, oh, it's bad because it has similar things to like One Piece, like where the main character isn't the smartest guy, and there's this scene that looks similar to One Piece, even though One Piece takes stuff from everything else. Or, junk like that, like the people comparing Eden Zero to Fairy Tail now, even though there's so many differences, and the only real similarities are the art style and Hiroshima putting up Easter eggs, but whatever. But my channel, I tell you this, anybody who actually knows me he knows that I have a deep love for this series, and I'll never do anything towards Fairy Tail just for views. I won't, if I dislike a chapter, I'll tell you. I won't dislike it just because, a large percentage of people, maybe something happened that pissed the fan base off. I won't be one of those guys like, I'm not going to name names because I don't want to start beef. But one of those guys who will make a hate review just to be like, aha, look at all those angry views and all of those, people liked my video because I hated this chapter. I won't do that. If I like a chapter, I'll tell you. If I dislike a chapter, I'll tell you. I try to be brutally honest when it comes to that stuff. But otherwise, yeah, thank you very much. Hopefully I can get you to sub my channel. Maybe a thumbs up to this video. And bye.